My grandpa left me his entire estate while my brother got the family house. Then my brother discovered what was hidden in the paperwork. When grandpa died, everyone assumed my older brother Daniel would get everything. He was the favorite. Always had been. Daniel got second chances. I got lectures. Daniel got help. I got expectations. So when the family gathered at the lawyer's office, nobody was surprised when Daniel inherited grandpa's house. It had been in the family for nearly 60 years. Large property. Great location. Worth almost $900,000. Daniel couldn't stop smiling. Then the lawyer looked at me. Grandpa left the remainder of his estate to Michael. The room went quiet. Bank accounts, investments, cash, everything else. The total value was slightly over $1.3 million. Daniel's smile disappeared. Dad looked confused. Mom looked annoyed. The ride home was awkward. For the next few weeks, Daniel complained constantly. According to him, Grandpa had been manipulated. The will wasn't fair. The estate should have been split. I ignored him. Then one afternoon, he called. For the first time in his life, he sounded nervous. "You need to come over." "Why?" "Just get here." When I arrived, the house was full of boxes. Daniel handed me a folder. "Look at this." Inside were property records, tax documents, maintenance reports, and one document highlighted in yellow. I read it twice, then a third time. The smile slowly disappeared from my face. The house wasn't fully paid off. Years earlier, Grandpa had taken out a large loan against the property. A very large loan. The remaining balance was nearly $600,000. Daniel looked sick. Apparently, Grandpa had used the money to build the investment accounts that later became my inheritance. Dad arrived shortly afterward, then Mom. Nobody said much. The math was brutal. After taxes, maintenance, and the loan, the house wasn't worth anywhere near what everyone thought. Meanwhile, the estate accounts had continued growing for years. For the first time, everyone realized what Grandpa had done. The house looked like the prize. The estate looked boring. In reality, it was the opposite. Daniel spent weeks trying to find a way out. There wasn't one. The debt belonged to the property, and now the property belonged to him. A month later, we met with the lawyer again. That's when Daniel discovered one more document. A handwritten letter from Grandpa. The final paragraph was underlined. One grandson wanted what looked valuable. The other appreciated what actually was. Nobody spoke. Daniel stared at the page. Dad looked away. Mom folded her arms. For years, Grandpa watched everyone assume bigger meant better. He knew exactly how they'd react, and he planned accordingly. 2 years later, Daniel sold the house. Most of the proceeds went toward clearing the debt. Meanwhile, Grandpa's investments had grown even more. Sometimes people ask if I got lucky. Maybe. But I think Grandpa knew something the rest of the family didn't. The most expensive thing in a room isn't always the most valuable.